Tonight, police hunting suspects over a break-in at a Broken Hill waste facility. And SA water workers walk off the job in Port Augusta.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. A building at Broken Hill's waste facility was damaged in an apparent break-in overnight. The tip closed for much of the day while police examined the scene. It's believed the offenders got away with little more than a snack.
Forensic officers comb over a hut at the Tips Way Bridge as staff are left wondering why their workplace was apparently broken into.
We don't have any cash, we don't have any high-tech equipment there apart from a couple of quite ancient desktop computers.
Workers believe the offenders forced their way into the hut through a side window, kicking their way through the front door. A cash-free facility, it appears any unwelcome intruder only managed to fill their stomach.
I'm told that the biggest concern of the staff is that they have helped themselves to the Scotch finger biscuits. But apart from that, until we can get in, we don't actually know what the problem is going to be.
The weighbridge itself reportedly undamaged. Locals turned away with the tip closed for much of the day. Police spent a number of hours at the scene gathering evidence. It's likely the suspects were captured on the weighbridge's security system.
You've broken into somewhere that has no money, nothing to steal of consequence, and you're on camera. So, hopefully you'll get a bit of education when you're behind bars.
The alleged break-in occurring sometime between 5:30 last night and 6 a.m. this morning. Police are asking anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
South Australia Police are reminding the public to remain vigilant for scams involving purchasing airfares through online advertisements. They say scammers are impersonating seemingly legitimate travel agencies online. Initial contact occurs through social media, with scammers then moving to a separate messaging platform where the quote is prepared. SAPOL is reminding people to conduct their own independent research or use reputable travel agencies. Industrial action has been taken by SA water workers in Port Augusta, with a number downing tools for 24 hours. Workers say the strike is to highlight the uncertainty of their rosters, which they say makes it hard to plan their life outside of work.
Standing united in the pursuit of change. 55 SA water workers downed tools yesterday for a 24-hour period. More than 20 of those congregating in Port Augusta's Gladstone Square to bring awareness to what they say is a staffing crisis within SA Water.
What SA Water is trying to do is to increase the hours of work, to not reward those people, and also to be able to dictate from Victoria Square what is going on in the regions in how the depots manage the work.
We've tried since the outset of negotiations to get a resolution, and SA Water have not been forthcoming with that. So we've really left with no option now but to take industrial action.
The statewide stop work affected sites such as pipeline restorations, water treatment plants and depots. Unions say employees just want their concerns heard.
We don't want these jobs to be denigrated to where people don't want to maintain their employment with SA Water and go off in search of better and more rewarding or family-friendly environment.
In a statement, SA Water confirmed that its customers' water services were not affected by the day of industrial action. They're also denying any claims of work hours being randomly changed or extended. Furthermore, they're hoping after 9 months of negotiations, flexibility will be shown by all parties so an agreement can be reached soon. Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Support is gathering for the Hands Off Boston Bay Group, with a rally organised in Port Lincoln for tomorrow. It comes as SA Water stands firm, with their plans to build a desalination plant near the city.
Campaigning to change the proposed desalination plant for the Lower Eyre Peninsula. The Hands Off Boston Bay Group will give the community an opportunity to hear from marine scientists, politicians and industry leaders this weekend.
It gives the public an opportunity to ask a question. That was probably a question they might not have asked SA Water, or SA Water could not answer the question.
Public information sessions were previously held with SA Water, but Mark Andrews from EPC Foods says opposing voices weren't able to give their thoughts.
Unfortunately, we weren't part of that, so this is our opportunity to inform the public of our concerns to the recreational, tourism and aquaculture industries should a desalination plant be located at Billy Lights Point.
At its meeting on Monday, the Port Lincoln Council officially made clear their opposition to the proposed site at Billy Lights Point.
We have the full support of the Port Lincoln Council, full support of the Lower Eyre and other regional mayors all the way up to Ceduna and up the coast to Tumby.
The session will start at 9:30 tomorrow morning on the Port Lincoln foreshore. Community members will have the opportunity to ask questions of each speaker.
I'd just like to see everybody out here on Saturday. That's going to be a bit rainy by the looks of it, but we'll put up the marquee and bring your jacket, come down and get a sausage and be part of the discussion group.
Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, a group of Spencer Golf children graduate from a unique learning program, and the Wyler Men's Shed's future a little brighter thanks to a grant. Welcome back. A local L-plate driver has lost his licence for 6 months after being caught speeding at Horson near Port Lincoln yesterday morning. At about 6:45, police detected a utility vehicle allegedly travelling 146 kilometres per hour in a 100-kilometre zone. The driver, a 23-year-old Eyre Peninsula man, was reported for speeding, breaching his L-plate conditions and driving without L-plates. The man will be summoned to appear in court at a later date. A shooters, fishers and farmers bill, which it claimed would improve transparency around grant funding, has failed to pass Parliament. Roy Butler introducing the bill to the lower house last week, which would have required local MPs to be kept informed around the distribution of grants. While the opposition supported it, government MPs argued it would lead to delays in awarding grants and increased costs in determining outcomes. Port Augusta last night hosted a graduation ceremony for the Adelaide Children's University program, which helps encourage a passion for learning. The statewide initiative saw students from Port Pirie and Whyalla travelling for the event.
The first of many important moments for this group of students. More than 50 children of different ages gathering at Port Augusta's Central Oval to graduate from the Children's University.
So tonight we had a celebration for our students who have been participating in our program, the Children's University Adelaide. These students have participated in extracurricular learning, so things they've done either after school, lunchtime, recesses, before school, school holidays.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. These are our new champions into the future.
Adelaide's Children's University is a voluntary program for students aged 7 to 14. The program seeks to increase their chances of academic achievement and encourage children to consider studying at university once they leave high school.
It's only going to build them with more confidence and hopefully they'll continue to enjoy their education.
Students were happy to graduate, but even more excited by the free barbecue provided by the local Rotary Club. Last night's event, the first regional graduation ceremony to take place since 2019.
This past couple of years has been really hard. It would have been really easy not to do extra learning, not to challenge yourself when there's already so much going on. But these guys made those positive choices, they gave up their time and they learnt some extra stuff.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Community groups across the Spencer Gulf have been given a boost thanks to the federal government. The Powering Communities program helps them install renewable or low-cost energy solutions to assist in reducing their power bills.
It's a program helping turn on the sun for community groups like the Wyler's Men's Shed. Along with 9 other groups in the region, they secured funding in the latest round of the federal government's Powering Communities program.
We put in for a grant a while ago to try and get solar power, solar panels on our pergola, and after a lot of toing and froing, we got the approval the other day.
The scheme helping reduce power bills by providing grants of up to $10,000 to install low power or renewable energy solutions. The men shed using their $5,000 to install solar panels on top of their pergola area, helping slash their electricity bill.
The grant money will actually come through next year, but we can organise it now. It's going to be a great help, as you can imagine, with all the power equipment and that we've got here.
Groups in Cummins, Port Pirie and Corn also received funding for energy-saving projects. In total, more than $65,000 has been handed over in the electorate of Grey.
Meeting the power bill when you're running chook raffles to pay for them can be pretty hard work. Other clubs, have more resources.
Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. A Whyalla Cricket Club unveils its new training nets, and Broken Hill basketball has returned to the court for the first time since the lockdown. OTR is a step closer to establishing its first petrol station in Broken Hill. A preliminary assessment has been completed on the company's development application. The proposed complex would replace the existing BP at the corner of Patton and Bonanza Streets. Both the servo and convenience store would operate around the clock, with a car wash and drive-through also shown on the aerial plans. Construction is expected to cost $2 million. The Kimber region will benefit from an extra $2 million in federal government support. The funding acting as recognition of the strain the planned National Radioactive Waste Management Facility has had on the community. Rejuvenation of the Big Galah, resurfacing of the Kimber sport fields and mental health initiatives have been funded in the past. The official location of the site is yet to be confirmed, but a notice of intention to declare has been lodged. Basketball has returned to Broken Hill in a big way, with the first round of the season wrapping up last night. It's the first major sporting competition to be played indoors under the state's new COVID rules.
A scene which a month ago would have been impossible. People indoors, maskless and enjoying community sport. Men's A grade playing last night after a bumper week of local basketball.
We're fresh and everyone's keen to get into something and get around and chat to people they haven't seen for years.
Under the rules for indoor sports, a density limit of 1 per 2 square metres applies. Everyone over 15 must be double vaxxed and masks need to be worn when not exercising.
I think they're all hungry. Half the thing is I think parents are sick of seeing their kids, so they thought we'll get out and go to the basketball stadium.
Those rules not deterring locals, with 96 teams competing in the 21-22 season, only a slight drop from our COVID-free summer last year.
It's always been quite popular over the last few years, but it's just one of those things that basketball's just taken off, everywhere basically. So let's ride the wave.
And with hopes state borders will remain open, teams will be able to put aside their differences and fly the flag for the Silver City.
We've actually got a carnival we can go away in about 2 weeks to Port Pirie, and then the big one is the South Australian Country Carnival.
Though after months of lockdown, some may take a while to get back into the swing of things.
Some of us older blokes, it's going to take half the year to get our legs back, but we'll be right.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Rapina Cricket Club will pad up for practice in comfort, with new nets recently installed at their training grounds. It's part of a Whyalla City Council initiative that's aiming to upgrade sporting facilities to a higher standard.
Improving the players' enjoyment and love of cricket one ball at a time. New training nets are now in use at the Rapina Cricket Club, with club members already providing positive feedback.
It's very exciting. We've had Damien Skinner and a committee at Rapina working tirelessly to get this up and running and receive grants and fundraising ourselves.
Since the installation a few weeks ago, more players have been coming to training to use the new equipment. For the Whyalla City Council, it's part of a wider program to upgrade sporting facilities across the region and improve standards.
One of the things we looked at was, could we do better than what we had? So instead of 2 nets, we went with 4 nets. We also consulted with SACA, South Australian Cricket Association.
Council aiming to eventually bring a women's big bash game to the city once COVID restrictions have been eased. Meanwhile, the club is hoping the upgrade will encourage more people to consider taking to the crease.
If you've got an enjoyable facility to train at, they're more likely to come and the parents are more likely to support their kids. We've had the most people we've had out at training when we first opened them up.
Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We preview the weekend's local cricket action. And we'll have all the weather details with Alex Sykes. Hello again. Despite the looming forecast, our local cricket leagues are preparing to return to the field this weekend for another big round of fixtures. With a preview of the action, here are our cricket experts with their tips.
Hello and welcome to round 6 of Port Pirie cricket. This round sees Wandera meet Props. Wandera had a good win over Southport and will be looking for back-to-back wins. Props have been looking to bounce back after a disappointing loss last week. I'm tipping Wandera. The other match sees Southport take on Port Germain. Southport will be looking to continue their good early season form. The last time these two sides met, Port Germain were bowled out for just 76 runs and will be keen to avoid a repeat of that performance. I'm tipping Port Germain.
Yeah, welcome to round 5 of Port Augusta Cricket Tips. This week we see South Augusta take on Central Stirling at Etzer. This should be a great match. Both sides are looking to cement themselves on top of the table. I'm going to lean towards South Augusta to beat Central Stirling in a close game. The other game sees West Augusta travelling to Quorn to take on Quorn. West are yet to win the game. I'm sure they'll put up a good fight here. Fortunately, I'm going to lean towards Quorn to beat West. So there are my two wins for Port Augusta round 5 cricket, South Augusta and Quorn.
Hello and welcome to round 5 of Whyalla cricket. In the first game of the round we see Rupina taking on North Whyalla. I think it's going to be a tough one here if the rain holds off. I think Matt Quiss is in some form, so he should fire. And North are going to win. In the second round we see Central Whyalla take on West. I think this one's going to be a bit one-sided and I think I'm going to tip Centrals.
Welcome to this week's Port Lincoln Cricket Tips. Last week's A-grade cricket was a complete washout, with the games in the B-grade getting underway, albeit a little bit late, and delayed starts and reduced overs. But some good cricket was played in the B-grade. This week's A-grade game sees Tasmans and Charlton, the two teams from the T20 Grand Final, battle each other out at Ravendale. Should be a really good game of cricket. Charlton are a pretty strong side. Tasmans with a couple back in, I think, this week. Going to tip Tasmans to get over the line. In the next game, Southern Air and Waybacks out at Whangarei Oval. Southern Air at home are generally too strong, and they'll be too strong in this game, I reckon, as well. Waybacks a good young team up and coming, but Southern Air for me. Thanks for listening to Port Lincoln Cricket Tips.
40 over cricket continues in Broken Hill this weekend with South taking on West. West should record their second successive win against Souths. West, of course, recorded an upset win over last year's Premiers North last week, so they'll be chock full of confidence in that game. In the second game, Central take on North. I think Central were fairly impressive against South, and I think they may be packing too many guns for a North side that hasn't had 2 consecutive losses for a number of years.
Speaking of this weekend's weather, it's once again looking like one that will require an umbrella. With all the details, it's good evening to Alex Sykes.
That's right, John. The region can expect a soaking tomorrow with heavy falls expected. I'll have more on that soon. But first, let's take a look at today's conditions. From 3 p.m, Port Augusta reached 21, Whyalla was 18, and Port Lincoln had a top of just 15. Looking further out across the region now, Cooper Pedy was the region's warmest place, hitting 33. Woodner and Adelaide reached 18, Kadina was 16, and Port Pirie was 20. Broken Hill reached a warm 30 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, clouds streaming across southeast areas is bringing rain and storms. Scattered clouds over the southwest with moisture and odd winds are causing the odd showers. High pressure in the north and far west is bringing clear and dry skies. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Easterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and swell will be south to southwesterly 1 to 1.5 metres. And as soon as this afternoon, there were no weather warnings issued for South Australia or the far west of New South Wales. A wet one for the Eyre Peninsula tomorrow. Port Lincoln, a possible shower, 17. Heavy rain and a top of 17 for Cleve. Wood, no rain and 20 degrees. Similar conditions further north. Whyalla and Kadina both expecting rain and 19. Port Augusta set to reach a high of 21 degrees. Port Pirie, heavy rain and 21 tomorrow. Clare will reach just 16 and Broken Hill will have a shower or two and hit 28 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, and that rain is set to clear by Sunday. Port Augusta will reach 22, partly cloudy and 29 forecast for Cooper Pedy. Whyalla will reach 20 degrees. Woodner, Port Pirie and Port Augusta are all set to reach a high of 20 degrees. And if you're in Adelaide, you can expect partly cloudy and 21 there. Those mild and dry conditions will stick around for the beginning of the working week. Cooper Pedy set for a warm 30, Port Augusta 26, Port Lincoln 20 degrees. But those wet conditions will return on Tuesday. Showers for most areas. Cooper Pedy 25, Whyalla 21, Adelaide 22. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. I hope you managed to stay dry this weekend. It's back to you, John.
Thanks, Alex. And that's the local news for tonight and the week. Just a reminder, you can follow us on social media at our Facebook, Twitter and YouTube pages. I'm John Hunt. Thanks for your company. I'll have updates later, and Ruby Kamain will be with you on Monday night at 7 p.m. Until then, have a great weekend. Good night.